Hello students, today in this video we are going to see the Elizabethan age and the Elizabethan drama. These two topics we are going to discuss in this video. The Elizabethan age is rightly called the golden age of English literature because several great and exceptionally gifted writers and poets produced their works in this age. The name Elizabethan age denotes the period of the reign of Queen Elizabeth from the year 1558 to 1603. It was a time of great development in English commerce, maritime power, and nationalistic feeling. It was also an age of the great development in the field of literature, especially drama and poetry, and also of a growth of the spirit of adventure. A great age of English literature, it produced eminent literary figures like Philip Sidney, Christopher Marlowe, Spenser, Bacon, William Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, and many other writers of prose and of dramatic lyric and narrative poetry. The age following the Elizabethan age is called the Jacobean age because of being the age of the ruin of King James I from 1603 to 1625. It was a period of a great prose works such as the writings of Bacon, Burton's The Anatomy of Melancholy, and the King James translation of the Bible, and also the sermons of Donne. It was the period in which the greatest tragedies of Shakespeare as well as tragi-comedies were written together with the major writings of other notable poets and playwrights including Donne, Ben Jonson, Webster, and Fletcher. Taken altogether, these two ages constitute what is regarded as the age of Shakespeare, which extends from accessions of Elizabeth in 1558 to the death of King James I in 1625. These 67 years may be divided into three periods. The first consisting of the first 21 years of the Queen's reign. The second comprising the 24 years between the publication of Spenser's Shepherd's Calendar and the death of the Queen, and the third spanning over the 22 years of the ruin of James I. The first period may be called the time of preparation or the spring guide of Elizabethan literature. The second, its time of full fruition or summer, and the third, its time of decline or autumn. To be exact, the term Elizabethan age should be applied to the first two periods, while the third period should be properly called Jacobean age. However, from the point of view of literary terms, literary development, the Elizabethan and the Jacobean ages may, with justifications, be said to constitute what is known by the general phrase the age of Shakespeare. The chief features of the Elizabethan, what are all the chief features of the Elizabethan age? Let us see. Elizabethan age may be said to constitute the background of the writings and career of Shakespeare. Hence, his work may be thought to reflect the chief tendencies of this age. The chief features of the age are mentioned as follows. The political condition. First, let us see the political condition. Since Queen Elizabeth remained unmarried, the British throne remained devoid of an heir. Elizabeth Irene was troubled by many offers of marriage, particularly from Spanish and French nobles, all Roman Catholic, and by the people concerned for an heir to the throne. English suitors generally cancelled one another out by intrigue or aggressiveness. There are many claimants to the throne, one of them being Mary of Scotland, a Roman Catholic and a widow of Francis II of France. Being the second cousin of Elizabeth, she laid her claim through her grandmother, who was Henry VIII's sister. Things were finally settled when Elizabeth accepted Mary's son as heir apparent, though Mary herself was in 1587 captured, tried and executed for treason. Mary had abdicated the throne of Scotland in 1867 in favor of her son James VI, who accepted the throne of England in 1603 as James I. His ascent to the English throne joined the two kingdoms for the first time, although Scotland during the 17th century often acted independently of England. Next, we can see the religious background of this age. The Elizabethan age was significant from the point of view of religion. Under Elizabeth, a new church had developed. It was Protestant in nature and was called Anglican, but it had arisen from the Henry VIII's break with the Pope and from a compromise with the Roman Catholics who had gained power under Mary Tudor. The Church of England was headed by the Archbishop of Canterbury, who was to be an increasingly important figure in the early part of the 17th century. There were also many schismatic groups which generally desired further departure from Roman Catholicism. The most important and large in number were the Protestant groups. The Puritan, who were Calvinist, desired to purify the church of the ritual and certain dogmas, but during the 1590s they came to be ridiculed as extremists in dress and conduct. It was an age of both political and religious problems that were intermingled in the celebrated gunpowder plot hatched by Guy Fawkes. Next, we see the social atmosphere of this age. The Elizabethan age was an age of comparative social contentment in strong contrast with the days of William Langland. The rapid increase of manufacturing towns gave employment to thousands who had so far been jobless. And and unemployed. Increasing the trade brought enormous wealth and prosperity to England. The rise in prosperity turned the people's attention towards the conditions of the conditions of the needy. Attempts were made to take proper care of these people. Parishes were made responsible for their own poor, and the wealthy were taxed to support them or to give them employment. The increase of wealth, the improvement in living, the opportunities for labor and employment, the new social content, these also were the factors that were conducive to the new and increased literary activity. So these are all the activities taken place during the Elizabethan age. Next we pass on to the Elizabethan drama. The Elizabethan age was a period of prime English drama. It saw the rise and growth of drama as a regular and perfect form of literature. Drama attained maturity in this age through the efforts of geniuses like Marlowe, Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, etc. Drama did exist before the Elizabethan age or the advent of Shakespeare, but it was in a crude form which is refined and given a finished shape of regular drama only in the Elizabethan age. Drama before Shakespeare. Let us see the drama before Shakespeare. To understand the drama of the Elizabethan age, it is essential to have a look at the drama existing before this age. The English drama grew up through the mystery and miracle play. The morality and the interlude and the rude farce of the strolling players and the pageant. In the beginning, the drama had been connected with the church. It represented both to instruct and amuse the people and the events of sacred history and of the lives of saints, or threw into the form of a play some moral allegory enlivened by grotesque event. Out of his rude early drama had grown, by the time that Shakespeare began to write, 3 or 4 divergent branches, allegorical plays that were fashionable at the court were still written, but the allegories, instead of treating a theme from Christian morals, were generally based upon classical mythology and were often meant to serve as elaborate compliments to the queen or to some great noble. Next, the tragedies. The tragedies, elements of tragic grandeur were found in some of these tragedies, but they were spoiled by much crudences and extravagance and by the presentation of courts horrors of mere violence and bloodshed. Next we see the comedies. These comedies had some true grace and beauty, but tended to degenerate into vulgar buffoonery and the antics of the clown. While we saw the histories, these included historical plays in which some of the patriotic feeling of the Englishmen and their interest in national history found an expression, but these plays comprised a series of loosely connected scenes and lacked the unity of subject and coherence of the form. Shakespeare's plays, let us see the Elizabethan theatre. Elizabethan drama can be said to have grown out of the religious drama of the Middle Ages, which existed in the days of Shakespeare too. Under the influence of a growing sense of art aided by the classical models and Italian plays and tales of passion and wit, the older forms of Elizabethan drama disappeared or were transformed into regular tragedy, comedy and history, which achieved perfection at the hands of Shakespeare. Shakespeare's plays are the climax of significant development in the theatre, in which this ferment could well be expressed. The age was dramatic and saw itself reflected in the drama. The stage received favor at the hands of the university and the court. Strolling players drew large audience in the courtyards of large inns. The choir boys of St. Paul's were made to act in courtly comedies. Large theatres were constructed to accommodate growing audiences, and they presented spectacular productions. Even the most debased device was employed on the stage if it could arouse and sustain the interest of the audiences. The scenery was usually simple, but the costumes were elaborate and the performance enlivened with music, dances and acrobatics. The scenery was usually simple, but the costumes were elaborate and the performance enlivened with music, dances and acrobatics. The tragical and farcical situations were presented alternately. The dramatist frequently used rhetoric and bombast. It can be said that Shakespeare wrote for a stage that was hardly ever static. The Elizabethan theatre going public. How the Elizabethan theatres going public? Let us see that thing. The Elizabethan public went to the theatre not only for sensation and recreation, but for information as well. People did not have the habit of reading books in those days. They obtained their knowledge from the theatre. The theatre alone could cater to the needs of their imagination. Like the earthly miracle and morality plays, the drama in Elizabethan times provided the spectators with a mixed fare of instruction and recreation. Drama had become a national passion, and the audience and their tastes were to be kept in mind by the playwrights while writing their plays. Medium of verse in the Elizabethan drama. Let us see the medium of verse in the Elizabethan drama. The Elizabethan dramatists mostly used the medium of verse in their the Elizabethan age writers used their medium of use in their plays. Though they also often deviated from this practice. Shakespeare's much ado about nothing contains more prose than verse, and often, even in the great tragedies, a change of mood is indicated by the transition from verse to prose and from prose to verse. However, it became a tradition that serious drama should make a highlighted use of language, which is poetry. Let us see the William Shakespeare in this age, in this Elizabethan age. Shakespeare is the most precious jewel in the treasure of Elizabethan drama. He learnt much from those who preceded him in the field of dramatic art. Right? And he made a free use of the dramatic forms and technique that they lay ready in their works for him to emulate or assimilate in his own works. One of the chief characteristics that distinguishes Shakespeare from his contemporaries, Marlowe, Lilly, Ben Jonson and others, is a variety of his work. Not two of his 37 plays are alike, nor do any two create the same impression. While every other playwright had his distinctive manner, Shakespeare dealt with the most diverse subjects with equal skill and order. He displayed equal skill in writing tragedy and comedy, history and romance, tragicomedy and farce. His plays arouse various emotions and present diverse experiences of life. Shakespeare's drama is written in the same heroic strain as Marlowe's poetic drama and combines the dramatic vigor and the poetic effusion of emotion. He makes use of blank verse and other poetic conventions, but he also invents several of his own ways of expression that befit his own genius, his own purpose and the taste and position of his own audience. In everything he has written, tragedy, comedy, history, lyrics, sonnets, etc., he has left the stamp of his own creative genius and powers. He remains unequaled in the fields of drama and poetry alike. He has imparted a new luster and glory to the Elizabethan drama. Next we see about Ben Jonson. Ben Jonson, he is a contemporary of Shakespeare. Ben Jonson wrote a different type of drama. In spite of his greatness as a dramatist, he can oddly be regarded as a match for Shakespeare. Unlike Shakespeare, he has followed the classical tradition in drama, and plays are sources of genial humor, whereas the drama in Shakespeare's hands was the painting of the whole of human nature. In those of Ben Jonson, it was the painting of some particular aspects of human nature, especially of his own age. He contributed to the English drama through his adoption of the theory of humours and his illustration of this theory in his plays, like every man in his humor and every man out of his humor. Next we see the decline of the Elizabethan drama. There was a perceptible decline in the Elizabethan drama after Shakespeare and Ben Jonson. The imaginative force, the poetic vigor, and the skill in construction that these two playwrights had shown underwent a process of decay in the hands of those who followed them, like Beaumont and Fletcher, Massinger and Ford. It became less poetic, less universal in thought and appeal, and devoid of that variety and depth that were found in the plays of Shakespeare. So this is the Elizabethan drama and Elizabethan age. That is it.